Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Let me start reducing the volume of the music a little bit. Hello. How is everybody doing today? We having a good day, good evening? Let me do a little sound check. All right, it works, it works. So we are back live, folks. We are back live, and we are ready to continue this incredible fishing journey we have been on for quite a bit now. And it's been almost a week, right? It's been almost a week of, you know, like doing the thing. Like, of course, like when we're, you know, like progressing to the thing, like I'm always like, I'm here, I'm chatting with people, you know, like I'm explaining a bunch of stuff. Sometimes I, you know, take the time to take screenshots for the guys and like whatever. So for someone who would do them on their own, like provided that I, you know, usually I log in for about an hour and a half when I stream. So I guess what I logged in about like maybe 7 times for an hour and a half. So it's about, so far we're about like at 8 hours, maybe 8 hours, give or take, of in that fishing journey. And we've just reached 225. We just reached the 225. We're on the last blitz, the last little segment to be able to finish that, to finally, for the first time in 15 years of me playing WoW, to be able to finally have fishing leveled all the way to 300. And it's not just the fishing, like of course I emphasize that because that's the, I guess the more unique or something like that, but it's leveling the cooking too. You know, it's like you can do the cooking and the fishing exactly at the same time if you buy the right recipes, if you know what you're doing. And a lot of the money that people can be making out of fishing is actually from the cooking stuff, from cooking materials for raids, for cooking stuff that gives food buffs and whatnot. So that's where the money part, you know, comes in of fishing. So, and it's always also in preparation for TBC. We don't know what's going to be upcoming for TBC. At least I don't. I'm not as knowledgeable on TBC as I am on Classic WoW. So I don't know if, you know, if fishing is going to be super lucrative, if cooking is going to be super lucrative. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, thank you. Just trying to make a little sound check to see what's the ratio of like the music and my voice. Like, is the music too loud? Is my voice too loud? You know, I'm just trying to be able to find a sweet spot. Alrighty, folks. So we are going to start this, and I have a little celebratory mood today. I am in a little celebratory mood today. I was not ready for that yesterday. Ooh, that's a good song. Look at that. Oh, I like the jam of that for sure. Yeah, we're in a celebratory mood because yesterday I was not ready for that. But as you can see in the new tip section on the left of the screen, yesterday we have received our first ever donation by my good friend Enthusiastic Panda. You know, came to the channel a few times. I came to his. We've kind of grown to have a little like camaraderie thing going on there. And yesterday, yeah, and there he is in the chat exactly as I'm saying this. Funny you arrive at this moment. I was exactly explaining that today I'm a little bit in a celebratory mood because of you, because of yesterday. You gave me my first donation ever, and I was not prepared for it. I must admit, I was not prepared for it. So today, what I thought I'd be doing is, in honor of the first ever donation on stream, due to you and your thing, I will be drinking a glass of whiskey. Cheers. I'll be drinking a glass of whiskey while streaming my fishing. So I will be sipping my whiskey. I love to sip. I love to savor my whiskeys. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Normally I drink tea, but tonight we're going with whiskey. All right. So I was just about to start. So we are here in Moonglade. Ready. There we go. Sitting in the water. My ass is already all wet from being in the water. There we go. Let's do it again. Little dance. You know, my dwarf is happy. It's all ready. The new step of the process, the new step of what we are going to do with our fishing, because as you can see, yesterday we finished the stream by completing our quest. We completed the quest. Stay strong, Fugeki Lever. Yes, stay strong. It is strong, trust me. So yeah, yesterday we finished the stream by turning the quest for fishing, which got us to 225. So we're at 225 cooking, 225 fishing, and we basically stopped there. So what I did in the meantime, I got myself to the next phase of the fishing quest, which was the fishing journey, which is in Moonglade. So this beautiful, magnificent area that is called Moonglade is actually one of my favorite zones in the entirety of the game. So I walked around a little bit, you know, I was like, what is it going to be a nice spot in Moonglade to be able to continue our fishing journey? And look at the spot that I found. Look at that, okay? Gonna go just like this. And this is the landscape that we are going to have for the entirety of our fishing stream. Are we ready, chat? Are we ready to see it? I think it looks magnificent. You there for the reveal? Enthusiastic Panda? You excited to see the landscape I found for us to fish for today? You're waiting for that? Okay, look at that. This is what we're gonna be fishing to. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this magnificent? Look at this. The waterfall in the background. The waterfall in the background, the beautiful trees, you can see the architectures. You have this big rope that is around the tree, which is actually a Japanese thing. When you have a rope wrapped around a tree like this, just like this one here, and you have these little like white things dangling on the front, it's Shinto. It's the Japanese Aboriginal religion that we have named eventually, that got to be named Shinto or Shintoism. And when you have a rope wrapped around a tree like this, it means that there is a spirit or a divinity inhabiting the tree. So divinity or the spirit in Japanese is called a kami. So there is a kami inhabiting the tree. This is why there's a rope wrapped around it. So we clearly see the beautiful rope here of this magnificent landscape that is so beautiful, that is filled with divinity, right? That's why there's ropes everywhere. And this is what we're going to be fishing to today. So I'm pretty excited. And it's going to be very straightforward. From this point on, we've already bought all the recipes that we needed. We already have, you know, like everything learned. You know, we have learned the spotted yellowtail, which is a recipe that we bought. So basically, we just fish and cook until 225, until 300. Sorry, from 225. That's it. There's no more running around, no more buying recipes at specific vendor. From this point on, it's literally just sitting here fishing our way to 300. All right, so let's start. And also, I would like to give a little shout out to current viewer and a first donator of the stream ever, Enthusiastic Panda, who today, as I was live on his stream, managed to grab his first Great Sea Ray mount after 6,000 tries. 6,000 tries, he finally got his first Great Sea Ray, and I was there to be able to see it live. A pretty amazing moment. That was really cool, buddy. So congratulations again. Did you manage to get a second one? So I guess, you know what, cheers to the first donation and the first mount, the first of many, hopefully, for both of us. Yeah. No, I stopped streaming and trying when I reached the 7K tries. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that was your goal. Like when I arrived into your stream, that's what you were saying, right? You were saying like I'm at 6K. My goal is to try to get. You were saying to me like my goal is to do like 1K tries, and after 1K tries, I'm gonna stop. So You stay true to yourself. You set yourself your objective to do 1K tries for the day. You did, and then you stop. That's good. That's important. It's important to be able to, you know, set our own limits, set our own boundaries, understanding when we need to stop and when we need to continue, and follow through with the boundaries that we set for ourselves. So, good thing you stopped after 1,000, and it's you know, don't overdo it. You know, don't burn out yourself. Very important. Yeah, already, like, yeah, I bet, man. After fuck the energy, the excitement, you know, and after like 6,000 tries of getting something, and you finally get it, man. It's just, whew, that's crazy. I don't think I've like in a video game, for sure, but even I guess there could be places that I, you know, like practice something on and on and on and on and on for about like 6,000 tries, like for sure. Like when I was playing tennis, I'm sure that there's so many different things that I've done, so many exercises and so many practice drills that I've done that probably amounts like very easily to me, like, you know, hitting the same ball to the same place like more than 6,000 times for sure. But I've never done that in that kind of dedication for something in the like in WoW or in a video game or like whatever, that it's very like, I don't know, it's just not the same in my mind, you know. And it requires, for me, it's a lot easier to just like when you do sports and you just practice to do something, you just do it. There's like a physicality or something involved. Well, if you do it in a game, it's not the same kind of motivation, and I feel like it's harder to stay motivated to do the same thing over and over and over and over again in a video game, I guess, except especially when your reward is purely random. You know, like one of the reasons why you practice so much when you do either like when I did like Arena in World of Warcraft, or when I did like so many different things, like the reason why you want to practice so much is because like you get better, you know, you improve and you feel it, you feel your growth, you feel like all these things like happening and like whatever. But in a video game like this, like when it's just like RNG, you know, when it's just RNG, then it's like you just do it and you hope, you just pray that it's gonna work, you know. And that's a kind of a, it takes a complete different kinds of again of complete different kind of motivation and stuff. And I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool to be able to see you there doing that, maintaining that motivation, going out there fishing, you know, almost every single day in the hope of like having that mount drop that is like 0.3%. Like that's actually incredible. And we just got a 34-pound fish to held in our offhand, which is really funny because I don't know if you remember, you folks remember, but like the first time I ever did a fishing stream when we were in Elwyn Forest, that's where it all started. And I was fishing and I got like a 10-pound fish, you know, and then I got a 15-pound fish and whatever. And I was like making jokes, you know, and laughing at Blizzard at the fact that like they weren't even able, like back in the time, they didn't consider making the 15-pound fish bigger in your hands than the 10-pound fish, you know. And right now, which is probably I'm guessing probably the biggest fish we can get in Classic WoW, I'm assuming, we just got ourselves a 34-pound fish. And that 34-pound fish, let me see if I can, yeah. That 34-pound fish, if I hold it in my hand, is exactly the same size as the 10-pound fish. There's a 24-pound difference between the two fishes, but they look exactly the same, according to Blizzard. I don't know. It's a very cool thing. When I drop the mount, it's just get a hype of motivation to continue. Yeah, man, for sure. Like, of course. It's like, I think we were discussing it like a few streams ago. You know, it's this idea that you're doing something and it's completely random, right? So you do it, and then eventually you kind of just lose hope after a bit, you know? You're kind of like, oh my god, sorry. Like it's been 6,000 tries, I haven't seen it once, you know, like all of that stuff, and it can kind of like get under your skin kind of thing, you know? But then you get it once and then it's just like, dude, I know it's possible. You know, like I know it's possible. I've done it once. You know, and I feel like that's just like the second win that you need to be able to continue to have the energy to be able to continue. I don't know if the fish sell for something. I kind of hope it does. I tried selling the other ones. I tried selling the 10, 12, 15, 24 pound fish that I got, and none of them sold. None of them. So maybe this one is gonna be different because it's 34, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think that it will. So today I tried earlier during the day my however you want to however it's called in your country, I guess, or whatever, but it's like my postal code or zip code or however it's called again, like in your country. My postal code today opened up for and my age group opened up for vaccines for COVID. So I'm gonna try. I tried to get an appointment 2 days ago, like yesterday, and I didn't get anything. I tried to went on the website again today, and it's still like all the appointments and everything is full, so I wasn't able to get anything. But yeah, I did that today, so I might be getting my first round of vaccines for COVID in not too long. My fiance also tried to go online and get her own appointment, and I don't think she was able to either. So. But we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep trying. We will be on the 25th of June. It's going to be my fiance's birthday, and it's going to be her. You know, like the way it's called, it's like the champagne birthday, and the champagne birthday is when your date of birth aligns with your day of birth. So, for example, she's born on the 25th, and this year is going to be her 25th birthday. So putting it all together, like, so for me, I was born on the 13th. So when I was 13 years old and my birthday was on the 13th, that was my champagne birthday. So this year is my fiance's champagne birthday, and we want to do like something special. You know, we want to do a little something unique, little something special, and it's also going to be like during COVID, which kind of sucks and like whatever. But we've made arrangements to travel to another province or another state or whatever you want to call it in Canada. So we're gonna go to Alberta, and we're gonna go spend a lot of time in the mountains in Jasper and Banff. So a lot of people, when they see pictures of Canada, they see that famous picture in Alberta in Lake Louise, which is that really beautiful, like aqua lake in between the mountains kind of thing. It's a very famous picture of Alberta. It's called Lake Louise is the location. So we're going to go in that area, including Lake Louise, and spend I think like 10 days there. I'm just going out there chilling. We both love like nature and have very strong connections with nature and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be just like hiking in the mountains, you know, like climbing, visiting places, chilling, sitting, admiring the water, the trees, the nature, and just really taking like a chill time, reconnect with ourselves and with nature in that other province. So we're really, really, really excited about it. We're really excited to be able to go, but it would both of us give us a lot of confidence, a lot more kind of like reassurance and confidence or whatever, knowing that we would go there having had the vaccines. You know, so it's okay if we don't, like, it's not gonna influence like our trip necessarily, but like having the vaccine just gives us like, you know, that kind of like peace of mind. And it's not like we're going to go in places that are like excessively crowded either. It's mostly going to be just like, again, like in the mountains and nature. We're going to be renting Airbnb, so we're not going to be staying in like hotels with a bunch of other people and like whatnot. It's going to be pretty isolated in our own trips, but it's exciting time. She went there last year, I think. She went there last year like on her own, just by herself, whatever. But this year we're gonna go together, try to experience that, you know, together instead of just like going there alone and stuff. And I've always, Canada is so big that wherever you want to travel in Canada, it actually costs a lot, even if you travel within the country. So like oftentimes I've always chose to go to different places, right, to a different country. So basically like for the same flight time and the same amount of money, I can go to like a different country. So in my mind I was kind of like, yeah, I'd rather do that. But there's a part of me that always felt like I wanted to visit my country, you know, I wanted to visit Canada to really see what it looks like. And there's so many beautiful places, beautiful nature spots and whatever in Canada. It's known for that. So I'm happy that it's I've been to a few places, but I'm really happy to go there because it's one of the places in Canada that I've always really wanted to go. So to know that I'll be able to go there this year, and it's going to be with her as well, and her champagne birthday, it's going to add, you know, a lot more to the whole thing. And I'm actually really excited about that. So I'm trying to do that too. Living in the city and my work is giving some stress, and I need to go someday to live isolated in some place in nature. Yes. I cannot say more yes to what you just said. Absolutely. It's like you know, it's we live in a system, the neoliberal capitalist system, that is very, very, very hard and very. It's not just very hard. It's very how can I say that? Like, except if you're very privileged, if you occupy a very privileged position within the system, it might be different. But it's a very exploitative system that is very, very, very ignorant and very low and very dismissive of healthy working conditions. So most people that operate within the system that we do live a life that is filled with stress, that is filled with imbalance of, you know, mind-body disconnection with yourself, disconnection with nature, and, you know, all of this disconnection that we have that is fueled by our, you know, like the world that we live in, the society that we formed, and the system that is behind them, is very disconnecting is the best word that I can use. And oftentimes like a very big way to be able to reconnect with yourself, with your own self, your own identity, your own well-being, and like taking care of yourself, oftentimes happens to a lot of people when they are in nature. Because in nature, it's like it's only you and nature, man. And the tree, you know, when you walk beside the trees and the flowers, like they don't care if your haircut is a different way. They don't care if your hair is long or short. They don't care if you're dressed a particular way. They don't care whether you have an assignment, like, you know, due tomorrow or not. They don't care about your salary. You just exchange. You know, you just exchange with the environment. You exchange with nature. It makes it feel good. It's not judging you. It accepts you for who you are, just like you accept it for what it is. And that relationship that you have, as you just mentioned, it brings that peace of mind, you know, peace of mind and body. It appeases the spirit and whatever. And it's like my fiance gave a talk this week on self-care and liberation. So how liberation is connected with self-care, and liberation, she means specifically liberation from like systems of oppression, including like capitalism and all, like, you know, racism, sexism, and all of these stuff. So and the talk, one of the things that she was trying to point towards to most people is that for a lot of people, when you say like self-care, right, especially for women, like when you say self-care, it's about like, you know, like dropping like a bath bomb and like having bubbles while you take a bath, and like doing like a manicure, or like changing your haircut, or like doing like a new makeup. Or it's about self-care, it's about going out there and like treating yourself to like a nice meal, or buying fancy clothes, or like whatever. So the whole concept behind self-care is embedded in a capitalist consumerist attitude, right? That it's about spending, it's about consuming, it's about looks, it's about whatever. And these things are ultimately oftentimes like at the source of people's stress anyway. And their whole talk was about like self-care is also like talking to your plants, you know, like you water your plants and you try to make them grow and like whatever, or taking a walk with your dog. and taking walks in nature, going on a hike. Like all of these things are also self-care, because these are all spaces where you can be with yourself. You know, you can be alone with yourself in a non-judgmental environment, in an environment that loves you and gives you all that energy for who you are, without caring about your performance, about your looks, about whatever. And this is also self-care, you know, taking time to go outside in nature, like you just said. Like it brings peace to your heart, it brings peace to your mind, to your spirit, and that is self-care. That is taking care of yourself. It's taking care of your body, taking care of your mental health, taking care to make sure you don't burn out and stuff. And it's, you know, this is very important stuff, and a lot of people don't consider these stuff self-care, but they are actually very, very, very important. And not only are they important, but they're liberatory, because they contradict the narratives of, like, the main narratives of the world that we live in is like, you have to overwork yourself, you have to do overtime, you have to barely sleep, you barely have time for yourself, it's all about work, it's all about the career, it's all about, so you're supposed to, you know, like, you're supposed to kill yourself for your work, like quite literally. You're supposed to burn yourself out, you're supposed to exhaust yourself, you're supposed to whatever. Like, you're not supposed to feel good, you're not supposed to feel relaxed, you're not supposed to feel whatever, right? So if you go out there and take the time for yourself, and take the time to feel relaxed, to feel at peace, to feel not rushed, then you're actually contradicting kind of like what capitalism wants from you. You're saying, no, I won't be exploited, you know? And it's like, it's a form of protest. It's a form of protest against a system that is very liberatory. It's empowering for you to be able to say no and choose yourself and choose your well-being over the well-being of a business. You know, that is basically there to make profit off of your overwork. So it's very, very, very important to be able to do that stuff. You know, take the time for yourself, go out in nature, man, go outside, you'll do it. Take care of yourself. It's very important. So when you go outside in nature, Enthusiastic Panda, when you go outside in nature, what do you do? What do you like doing? What kind of places do you like to go to? By the way, chat, we are at 233 fishing. So we got 8 skills so far. There's not a lot, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We stay confident. And at this point, you know, like the amount of fish we get, the kinds of fish we get, and like whatever is not super relevant. So like, apparently, like according to the guide that I'm following, what the guide that I'm following says is whether you get spotted yellowtail, red gill fish that we keep getting, this guy, right? The raw red gill, the spotted yellowtail, the sun scale salmon, which is this one here, but also the white scale salmon, which I don't think we've been getting these. But I know the oily blackmouth is used for alchemy recipe. The nightfin snapper is used for do the MP5 region, the mana per second food buff that you get for raiding. So all of these fish, like I'm gonna actually put them in separate categories here. All these fish that we keep getting are all important. They're all useful in a way. They're all, you know, whatever. So we don't really care about the amount. We don't care about whatever. It's just about getting enough of what we need to allow ourselves to get all the way to 300. I just have to rest to let my mind and my soul run together, free from my body weight. Yes, yeah. Do you do meditation? Because what you're describing, this feeling of peace, you know, this feeling of peace that is coming in your body, peace of your body, peace of your mind, peace of your spirit. Let your spirit and mind like run free outside of the shell, you know, that is your body. Whatever is sounds a lot like meditation to me. Yeah, I think it's mine. I don't know why though. I don't know why it's doing this. Sorry. It says that my it says here that my like the stream is unstable and the bit rate is low. But I don't know. I see it, but I don't know what to do about it. Okay. Weirdly enough, it's like Twitch has a hard time, but even though Twitch has a hard time, like when I go on my Streamlab, it actually says that the stream is actually going fine. It doesn't detect any problems. So I don't really know what's going on. It might be something to do with the Twitch servers or something. I don't know. Sorry, I wish I could do something about it. I actually really don't know what to do. It could just be my internet connection, but so far it seems to be running pretty smoothly. On my side, like Streamlabs seems to be fine. It really seems to be my Twitch client that is even the YouTube client, because I'm on streaming on YouTube at the same time, and even the YouTube client seems to be fine. It just really seems to be the Twitch one that has some issue. Anyway, so you said that you don't meditate. I just try to rest sometimes and get some sun and listen to some music, and I don't think, yeah, like it's like I don't know. For me, it seems like you're doing a kind of like a meditative practice, you know, that is good for you, you know, that works for you, and that's the best thing. It's like a lot of people don't necessarily know that, but it's like you know, like a big part of what I study for my PhD is like I study classical Japan, but I study like I'm very, very well versed in Buddhist literature, because a lot of the people that wrote in these periods of time were Buddhist monks that just kind of wrote like, you know, their perspective, their thoughts about the universe and how things operated and like whatnot. And what a lot of people don't necessarily get is that they think, when they think about meditation, they think about the Zen kind of meditation, which is very much about kind of like sitting down, calming your mind, not thinking about anything, you know, whatever. And it's about like, it's one way to do meditation, but technically, like there's about like 152 ways to meditate. Yeah, there's about 152 ways to meditate, and they all fit particular people. You can adapt your strategy depending on you. Like there's specific techniques to meditate if you have like ADHD, for example, and like whatever that allows you to calm your brain, which is what a lot of ADHD like people don't necessarily have problem doing, is to be able to kind of like calm the thoughts and like whatever. So like the beauty with meditation is oftentimes like a lot of people are like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. And most of the time, it's not that it doesn't work for them, it's that they haven't found the way that fits with them. You know, they tried maybe one way to meditate or two ways to meditate. It's like, oh, it doesn't work, you know. But it's like, yeah, but you still have 150 to go, kind of thing, you know. But it's about making it in a way that works for you, you know. And what you've described really resonate with me, of just being out there, closing your eyes, having some music in your ears, you know, and just don't think about anything. Just kind of like let go and let your brain wander while you're letting yourself be transported by the music and feeling the sun on your face and like whatever. Like, this is beautiful. It seems like it's your own personalized meditation practice that works for you. And that's beautiful. It sounds, just imagining you doing it sounds very peaceful and very calming. Like, it's very similar to the kind of stuff that I like to do myself, you know? Yeah. We're definitely not conditioned to not think about nothing. In a world where we're supposed to overproduce things all the time, you're always supposed to think about the next step and to think about how can you optimize, how can you maximize, how can you whatever, right? So we're not encouraged and we're not taught how to not think, you know? But it's okay. Like, in my mind, like, you seem to have found a strategy that works for you. And I think that's what's important. That's what's important, is that you have a strategy that works for you. In a type of meditation that my fiance loves to do, it's called Vipassana meditation. It's a very known kind of meditation. It's called like the translation of Vipassana in Sanskrit would be something like insight. So it's kind of like an insight meditation in a way. And what Vipassana meditation requires you to do is not to suppress your thoughts. It's not to not think. It's not to whatever. It's to just be aware and mindful of what comes for you. So if you're sitting there in nature and you kind of like just like you focus on your breath, you feel the sun on your face, and you kind of just like reconnect with your body, and then there's gonna be thoughts that erupt, right? There's gonna be thoughts that are going to come up for you. It could be a thought about work. It could be a thought about, like, I don't know, something like, oh, like I'm not good enough. It could be a thought about whatever. And it's not about suppressing these thoughts, at least in Vipassana meditation. It's not about suppressing these thoughts and not think. Rather, it's about just being aware. You acknowledge that this thought has risen to the surface. You acknowledge that it's there. And once you've acknowledged that it's there, then you kind of just let it go. You don't engage with it. You don't judge yourself for it. You just become aware that it's there. And then try to see if you can connect it with a feeling in your body. So for example, it could be like, whenever this thought comes to the surface, I feel like a little, my stomach is getting like, like all like crunched up, you know? And then you get to think about, okay, like my stomach getting crunched up seems to be connected with these thoughts that I'm having that is about, like, being stressed. And then maybe being mindful and being aware of the relationship between that thinking and the way your body reacts would allow you to, like, in different circumstances, sometimes you might be at work, you might be whatever, and then you realize that your stomach is getting all crunched up for like no reason. And then you're like, well, my stomach wouldn't get all crunched up for no reason. It only gets like that when I'm connected with feelings of stress, just like I had this thinking of stress, right? So sometimes your body reacts, and I would say not sometimes, but all the time, your body knows way before your mind does, way before your thinking does. So like your body is stressed way before your brain can see and figure out that it is stressed. So like sometimes, again, you might be at work, and if for you a sign of stress is you feel tingling under your feet, like that might be how your body reacts to stress. then if you're at work and suddenly you feel tingling under your feet, it should be a light bulb moment and be like, huh, I'm feeling tingling under my feet. Usually when I feel that, it's because I'm stressed. And then you can kind of, you're mindful of that. You're mindful of that feeling in your body. And then you can be like, okay, like, so now I know that I'm stressed. Where does it come from? What is the source of that stress? And like whatever, then you can kind of explore it further. So oftentimes this kind of meditation is that's why it's called insight meditation. It's about having greater insight. It's about having greater insight into your own self, greater insight into your own body, into your own mind, into your own ways of being in the world. And yeah. So that is also a way to meditate. You know, it doesn't have to be about shutting your head, you know, shutting your brain and not thinking about anything. It can literally just be about being mindful of what reactions happen in your body when you have particular thoughts that rise to the surface. And treat yourself with compassion and empathy, whatever, when you have these thoughts, to be like, it's okay to have these thoughts, it's not a problem, you know, and just kind of empathize with yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend that would be going through the same thing, you know? Yeah, I mean, you know, that's good to know, you know. So that's, again, that's this insight that you have right now, and this feeling that you have when you're playing WoW. You know, if you're kind of like, it feels good before 2 hours, but after 2 hours, then it brings a certain level of stress. Like, that's also taking care of yourself, you know. It's taking care of yourself to know that, and to change your schedules, or to change the way you play the game, to make sure that you don't put yourself in circumstances where it makes you more stressed. You know, the why is not always super important. We can extrapolate as to why, but the why is not necessarily the most important part of all of this. It's about, what do you do now do you have this information? Now that you have this insight into yourself to know that playing WoW for more than 2 hours stresses you out, what do you do with this information? Do you still play more than 2 hours, or do you stop after 2 hours because you know you've reached your boundary and you're taking care of yourself? You know, that's the important part. But what do you do with this information? I love talking about stuff like that. Like, you have to keep in mind that you know, what I do for my PhD, what I do for my studies is I study the history of philosophy of East Asia, and I study the history of philosophy of different places in the world, but mainly the Western world in general, of like Europe. And I just compared it to. So talking philosophy and having these like philosophical, deep conversation, like whatever, is like, I literally live for that. You know, like that's what I do. I love talking about that kind of stuff. I can go on and on and on and on for hours. Especially when I'm doing so with such a beautiful background and some calming music, you know, in a nice environment, while fishing in World of Warcraft, you know. I really don't understand why the stream keeps lagging and bugging. It's kind of annoying. I see the like, if I look at my screen, which is the like the stream manager, right? If I look at my stream manager on Twitch, I literally see like the bit rate, and I see like the status, if you want, of the stream, and it says that it's excellent, and it says that the bit rate was like good, you know, it was as it was supposed to be, and it was still lagging. It was still like refreshing and like all that stuff. So I don't know what's going on. So we are now at 238 fishing. You know, right now we're at 11:14. 11:14 or 11:15 is the time here in EST in Eastern Canada and Eastern US. So stream ends at 12, so we have 45 minutes left to go. My goal, I know it's kind of out of my control because it's RNG, but my goal would be to finish the stream at least with 250 skills. If I finish the stream with 250 skills, I would be quite happy. This means we will have done 25 skills during this stream, and then it will take us probably 2 more streams to be able to get to 300 if we make 25 skills each stream. So a little over 250 would be ideal, but if we at least minimum finish at 250, I'd be happy. It could very well be that. Yeah, because as I said, it's like the YouTube stream is actually very fluid. It's the Twitch stream that's a little laggy. So I don't know what does have to do with anything, but when I go into my Streamlabs OBS, it actually says, like, it monitors the quality of the stream, and it says that the quality is good. Earlier today, I had some like I had to do like groceries and a bunch of stuff and like whatever that I did earlier during the day. But whenever I came back, I was able to get into a run of ZG. So right off the bat, I got into a run of ZG. I did not get anything. There was no good loot. There was no whatever. Even the loot that weren't good. Like, I still tried to roll on, what's it called? What, let me try to find it. Is it here? This. It's like, this is bad. It's actually really bad. But it's way better than whatever the hell I have. I really have crap right now. Like, I have like this nonsense of a wand. This nonsense of a wand. 5 spirit, 5 stand, like 53 DPS. It's like absolutely ridiculous. I look at that guy. It's like 20 DPS upgrade and it has better stats. So it's not what I wanted. I wanted the Touch of Chaos, which increases my healing by 15, which is absolutely insane. So that's the one I was hoping to get. But it didn't drop, and I tried to roll on this one. I didn't get it, and all of the other stuff that dropped was just like crap anyway. So it was kind of a, like, you know, it's part of the game. It's RNG. We still have to give it a try, but it was just a kind of, it was a good run, but it was just like shit loot the entire run. Like no good stuff dropped, like for me, like at all. And then I snatched a AQ20 run that like they literally like they advertise as kind of like, okay, AQ20 run, we are 2 bosses away from being done. So we're just at Mome and Osirian and like we're done. And I was kind of like, dude, that's awesome. Like I don't need everything that I need from AQ20 is from the last boss, from Osirian. From this guy, from Osirian. I need the Gloves of Dark Wisdom. This. I need the Staff of Ruins. For now. When I'm gonna get Benediction, I'm not gonna need this staff. But for now, that's the one that I need. That's the one that's way better than whatever I have. But you also get the chance to get gosh, to get Antenna of Invigoration. So, like, you know that other one was like 18 healing done, and this one is like 4 intel, 3 mana, and 13 healing done. It has a little less DPS, but whatever. Like, it's okay. It's still way better of an upgrade in comparison to what I have. So I was kind of like, dude, we're already at this guy basically. So I'm just gonna go in, finish the thing, and calling a day. You know, like I don't need anything else. And it was such a noob group. Oh my god, like people didn't know what they were doing. Tanks were like impatient. They were just pulling when like people literally had no mana all the time. They kept dying and wondering why we would be dying. People didn't know the fight. It was such a bad thing. So I spent probably like an hour to an hour and a half. We killed one boss and we never managed to kill the final boss. And we kept wiping on trash. And I basically wasted my raid ID. Right, like my reset. I basically wasted my reset for AQ on that group, and it's kind of like, you know, obviously it's always frustrating when stuff like that happens, because like you want to do your run at least if you don't get the loot, just like in my ZG run, it's like I might have not gotten the loot, but at least like I did the whole run. You know, I did the whole run, and I know that I did what I set myself up to have the opportunity to get the loot. You know, it just didn't happen. But now it just feels like wasted opportunity. We didn't even kill the boss that I needed to kill in order to get the loot. So it was just annoying. But the leader was saying that they might try tomorrow during the day or something. So if ever I manage to be online at the moment that they do it, then maybe I'll try to pop in and see if I can do it. Yeah, I'm actually, you're right. Like he says, Enthusiastic Panda wrote like, too much people are on classic or newbie, and honest to God, I feel like it's true. Like, I don't know, like I feel like it happens so often that I run into a group on classic WoW that people just don't know what they're doing. It happens way more than on retail. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because the game was kind of like easier then, the rotation was simpler or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. Sorry. But yeah, it's like I feel like since I started back, and maybe it's because I'm leveling, you know, maybe it's because I'm low level and I'm not following the phase. I feel like if I would be in a guild that would be raiding like Naxxramas like every single week and killing Naxxramas every single week and like whatever, it would probably be okay. Like it probably the people would be good, the people would know how to play, would be playing together for like a really long time and like whatever. But I came back to WoW. Into classic WoW specifically, like in a moment where like everybody's raiding Naxxramas, but then you have a few people that's still raiding Molten Core. You know, and I'm one of these people. I'm one of these people that's still raiding Molten Core because I just arrived. But it feels like the people that are stuck in Molten Core that are doing it, that like they tend to not necessarily, again, they not necessarily know what they're doing. Or when I run 5 men, like the people that are like killing Naxxramas every single week to get the best loot in the game, they don't run 5 men anymore. Like they know what they're doing and they don't run 5 men anymore. The people who run 5 men are either new people like me, or people that kind of don't know what they're doing and they're kind of like stuck at that place. You know, they're stuck at running 5 men because they don't have the time or they don't have the capacity or like whatever to do the Molten Core, to do the Blackwind Lair, to do the whatever, right? So now it feels like every time that I run something, I get like grouped up with people like this. You know, I get grouped up with people that aren't necessarily knowledgeable on what they're doing. And it always makes the run so long and so complicated and so whatever. And it's like when I was leveling to get all the way to 60, and I was constantly getting into groups, you know, I was getting into dungeon groups, into a bunch of stuff as I was leveling. And it felt like I've never really encountered like people that were that noob. Everything seemed to be very fine. But since I came back, I feel like most of the groups that I land on, most of the groups are like, by majority of the group consists of new people that are not very knowledgeable on what they have to do in the game. It could literally just be, you know, again, like a question of timing and stuff, but So we're having a lot of red gill right now, chat, but I think that we'd rather have the spotted yellowtail. I think. I wish that the entirety of our fishing stream happened in this landscape. Just being here makes me feel peaceful. Oh, there's really something with Moonglade in Classic WoW. There's really something about it. When you walk in there, you just feel peaceful. They've really managed to encapsulate that like peacefulness or whatever in the looks of the zone. It's really awesome. Maybe because dungeons are very easy and you have the same dungeon on retail, but raids on Classic are little unknown for a lot of people. So that's very possible. Yeah, absolutely. Especially raids that don't exist anymore, like AQ20 and I think AQ20 still exists though. But like, you know, people are still like, not a lot of people run AQ20. Not a lot of people run ZG. Actually, ZG doesn't even exist anymore. They had to like remake it and revamp it in Wrath of the Lich King, in like Zulaman and like whatever. But the real original ZG doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, you're right. It could just be that people are. And there's been events. You know, there's been events in World of Warcraft retail. I remember that because I got a mount out of it. The core hound mount back in the day. There was an event that you would go to, you'd be like max level, you'd be like, I don't know, level like 100 or whatever, and then it would be an event where you would go in Molten Core and you would just do Molten Core as like level 100, and the bosses would be kind of like leveled up to as if they were 100 as well. So a lot of people got to experience Molten Core through events like this that are there on retail, you know. But you never have an event for like ZG or AQ20 or whatever, and you certainly don't have an EQ for like an event for like AQ40 even. You know, like a lot of people are running like, and even for transmogs, you know, like people are running Molten Core for transmogs. So they know the way, they know the path, they know the dungeon, they know the whatever, right? Like they have an idea. Even though it's completely not the same because you one-shot everything, you still walk into the place. You still go in it, you know? And Blackwind Lair is the same thing. Like, you know, the first boss of Blackwind Lair, even if you run it for transmog, you still have to do the mechanics of, yeah, like time walking raids and stuff like that, yeah. But the event that I'm talking about wasn't a time walking event. It was just like an event at some point. I think it was in either like in Cataclysm or something. I'm not entirely sure. It was to celebrate like maybe like the 10th anniversary of WoW or something or whatever. Anyway, all that to say that like a lot of people go back to these raids and they still have somewhat of an idea of like what's going on or where to go and whatever, but like nobody that I know of runs AQ40 for transmogs, because the transmog sets are, first of all, they're horrible. Most of the time they look bad. You know, I don't like the looks of the AQ sets like whatsoever. But it doesn't give you much in comparison to a bunch of like these other raids that are out there. So I don't know, it's just like, I feel like people know what they're doing. Sometimes people kind of know what they're doing in like MC and Blackwind Lair because a lot of people have done it. But when it comes to AQ and Nax, like people have no clue. People actually have no clue what they're doing. And that's even more true of the 20 men. ZG, a lot of people, most of the time when I get into a ZG group, it's actually a good group. But so far, I've only had one group of AQ20 that was a good group. of all the times that I run AQ20, which is not a lot, like I probably run it like 4 times or something since I ding level 60 with this guy. Like every single time that I run an AQ20 on this guy, it was a bad group except for once. Well, ZG, I never had, in the 5-6 time that I ran ZGs, I never once had a bad group. I think it might also be a matter of incentive, you know, because like, sorry, when you think about it, like people that have like Nax gear, right? Like the best gear you can ever have in World of Warcraft Classic. The best gear you can have, people are still gonna run Nax. Sorry, people are still gonna run ZG because they hope that they can get the mount. They can get they can get the Tiger mount or the Razashi Battle Raptor, like whatever. So there's an incentive for them to go there at least once a week to just clear it through in 30 minutes, see if they got the mount, and they're just like, ah, shit, I didn't get the mount, but it's okay, I tried. Well, in AQ20, the only reward that you have is gear. So if you already have better gear than this, then the people that are geared have no reasons to come back. People that have gear have no reason to come back to AQ20. While they have a reason to go back to ZG because they can get the mount. You know? And because right now, most of the runs that I see of people running ZG or even AQ20 or like whatever, or even Molten Core and Blackwind Lair for that matter, everybody's running like guild bids, right? On particular loots. So for example, for ZG, what people are saying is like, okay, like we do a normal run, but if particular loot drops, it's gonna be a gold bid. So if you have a lot of gear and you're basically clearing Naxxramas and you're done with the game, you probably most likely have a lot of gold in the bank. You farmed a lot of gold and like whatever. So you go to these ZGs, hoping to get the mount. And if you don't, it's okay. But if the mount drops, you're most likely going to be getting it over fresh level 60s because you have a lot of gold to buy it and they don't. You know, you just need to have the luck that the mount drops, but if it drops, most likely you'll be getting it over other people. So I don't know, I just feel like that incentive in itself might be enough for people to go back to run previous raids like ZG and like whatever. But there's none of that for AQ. So, kind of sucks. Now I'll need to find myself Molten Core and not Blackwind Lair, but Onyxia group for this week. I don't know when I'll have time, but I'll need to find time to get a group to see if I can get some loots. I'm not too bad. I already have 2 pieces of prophecy, you know, of tier 1. I have the Vembraces of prophecy and the shoulders. So like if I get into a group where like you have healers that are already having like tier 2 and like whatever, and I'm like one of the only priests that doesn't have tier 1, then it means that most of the tier 1 gear that's gonna drop is gonna go to me. So that'd be pretty cool. But right now, what I'm really looking for, what I want to get on this guy is Benediction. So I already have, it's not in my bag, but I already have the Eye of Shadow for the Benediction, the staff, the priest staff that you can change between holy and you can change between holy and shadow by like right clicking on it, you know. So it's such an iconic, amazing staff, and its stats are absolutely freaking insane. So I really want to get that staff. But what happens is you need to get an item called the Eye of Divinity. And when you have the Eye of Divinity, you equip it as a trinket. And it allows you to see it allows you to see an NPC in Eastern Plaguelands, and then the NPC starts a quest, and the quest that the NPC is starting allows you to like, you do the quest and like whatever, and when you've done the quest, it gives you like a staff, and then once you have the staff, you need to use the Eye of Shadow and the Eye of Divinity together with the staff, and you create Benediction. So I already have the Eye of Shadow. The thing that I'm missing is the Eye of Divinity to be able to start the quest. Once I have the Eye of Divinity, then I'll do it right away. I'll get the quest done. I'll get my Benediction staff. And that way I won't have to care about a weapon for the entirety of the rest of vanilla and the beginning of TBC. So I'm like, when I go into Molten Core, I'd love to be able to get tier 1 stuff and like whatever, but the main piece of gear that I want is the Eye of Divinity to get the Benediction quest and the tier 2 pants, the Transcendence pants. I'm waiting for the TBC Classic release date announcements to start farming and some stuff. Yes, absolutely. You mean farming in Classic? Yeah, a lot of what you've been, since you popped on my stream and since I pretty much started streaming, to be honest. Yeah. Since you popped on the stream and I started streaming, like, the reason why I'm leveling fishing and cooking and whatever is my preparation for TBC. You know, it's like, I want to have my professions maxed out. I'm not quite there yet because, like, see, I still have like 290 out of 300 for tailoring. I still have to be able to level enchanting, which is so long because getting 8 illusion dust is actually such a pain. Getting 8 illusion dust that I need to be able to level the 300 is actually such a pain. So anyway, so I just like, it's I've been, you know, farming gear, getting ready. My goal, like the goal of what I'm doing right now for stream is just preparation for TBC release, you know, and TBCP patch. To just go there, farm the stuff, get as the best gear that's possible for me, so that when I launch into TBC, I'm able to kind of do decently well rapidly because I have gear that will carry me, you know. So it's like, that's the goal. My goal is to be able to like prep this character so that when TBC launches, all my professions are maxed. I have good enough gear that I'm not completely crushed by the mobs in Outland and like whatever. And that's the entire reason why I'm doing all of this, you know. So I feel you. I was farming a month ago, but I just get tired. I farm 1k gold with herbs and fish, but it's very tired. Yeah, that's the thing too, is like, I mean, you already have 1k gold. Like, that's actually insane. Like, you know, like fishing and herbing for until 1k gold. The fact that I already have 1k gold, in my mind, it's already a lot. I know that there's a lot of people that have like fucking 7k gold in the bank or whatever. Like, I'm almost at 1k myself, because I just got some really lucky drops as I was like, I got like twink items and stuff like that I was able to sell as I was leveling. So I got very lucky with my and some really good, cool, rare recipes that drop as well. So I got to like go all the way to like 1k gold right now in my bank. I'm really happy. But like, I've heard, or from what it seems to me when people talk about it, it seems like 1k gold going into TBC is actually not that much. Like, I should be having around like the 5k range and like whatever. But the thing is, I don't like, I looked at different guides, I look at different stuff and like whatever, and I don't really know what's a good, decent way to be able to farm gold on my priest before like TBC releases. Because like, I could farm DM East jump runs, which I used to do. Like, you do that, but then it's just like, you do it when you have herbalism, it's very profitable. But I don't have herbalism. And like, I can sell like the loots or whatever, but a lot of the money I used to be making when I was farming DM East runs was from selling the herbs. And not only do I'm not herbalism, but every time I looted herbs, like I remember like I used to sell Grom's blood, like 1 Grom's blood for like 1 gold. And right now Grom's blood is like 20 silver. So it's just like it's not the same anymore. I love fire blooms on classic. I have 300 herbalism and almost 300 alchemy, and I could farm, but just by catching fire blooms, 50 gold in 1 hour. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. 50 gold an hour is a lot. That's really awesome. I've heard people talking about like a specific place that you could go. It's like low level zones. You go like in low level zones when there's like harpies. So like the harpy, you know, it's like a mix of like a female, women, and a bird kind of thing character. And when you kill them, they have a chance to drop light feather, and light feather is highly in demand because of priests and mages. So like you're not gonna see it because of my UI, but give me 1 second. So priests and mages get I get levitate and they get slow fall, and levitate and slow fall both require a light feather to be able to use, and light feather were highly in demand because like if you do PvP, so if you do like Warson Gulch and Arati Basin and like whatever, particularly Arati Basin, like you will, as a mage and a priest, you slow fall from lumber mill to blacksmith. So when there's like you guard lumber mill and then there's a go at blacksmith and they need defense, you just jump down and you levitate all the way there. So it's very, you need to basically have levitate and slow fall as mages and priests when you go into doing these kind of things for PvP. So usually these sell for about like, it's almost like 1 gold-ish per light feather. And they can drop from anything that has wings that is like low level. So apparently there is a farm that you can get as literally like a fresh level 60 that has no gear, no whatever, like as a holy priest. And I would just run around spamming my holy nova like this, right? I would just run around spamming my oops. So you just run around using the I don't know what word it is that you can't say, but yeah, every forms of racial or gendered slurs that exist are on my on my thing, on my what's it called, on my moderator thing that I've added myself. But it's also like an automatic moderation that I think I've set to kind of like medium or something like that. So I don't know what the word is. Really, I'm really surprised that I'm really surprised that this word is on my automatic. Yeah, that's I didn't put it in there. It's probably like the automatic moderation tool that the system has that doesn't allow you to say it. But I'll try to see between. I'm not gonna do it now, but I'll do it between the next stream to see if it's on there, and maybe try to see if there's a way for me to kind of like, you know, put. But because that's, in my mind, that's not really a word that's like timeout material, you know. Yeah. Yeah. It's Yeah, like it takes a long time, and the mobs that drop the light feather aren't mobs that give you kind of like anything else because they're low level mobs usually. So it's like you need to kill a lot of low level mobs, and the only thing in all of the loots that they can drop, the only thing that can give you money is actually like the light feather. So if the light feather doesn't drop, you don't do money. If it drops, you do like a lot of money. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't like if I know, that's why I like DM East jump runs, because it's like I have a limited amount of time. I have a limited amount of time that I can invest into the game each week. So whenever I do invest time into playing the game, I want to know that what I'm going to do is going to reap some benefits, right? So if I'm gonna log in for an hour and a half to farm gold, I want to make sure that at the end of the hour and a half, I want to make sure that I have gold. You know, like if it's doing an hour and a half of nonsense so that at the end you just basically don't do gold because that thing that you were praying it drops doesn't, then it's just like I don't like farming gold that way. I like when it's maybe even if the price is lesser, and maybe it's not like, you know, like 200 golds per hour, but it's like 30 golds per hour. At least if I know that I'm gonna be getting that 30 gold consistently, I'd rather do this kind of run than doing this kind of like random runs that just prays for something rare and then you're rich, you know? I don't like investing my time in that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly the same way as you do. And by the way, chat, we have reached our 250. So we're gonna keep going all the way to 12. You know, we still have 15 minutes to go, but at least we know that we've reached our objective for the day. So, you know, we're quite happy about that. Whatever we're doing now is extra. Yep, whatever we're doing now is extra, but it's good to know that we're able to reach that. Yeah, in my mind, it's like the higher we get to go today. So if we finish, you know, like 255 today, for example, the higher we go today, it means the more chance I have to reach 300 during the next stream. Classic is a game where you lost so much time just traveling or grinding to reach something, and sometimes I lost my motivation to play. Yes, it is a very, very, very grindy game. The basis of the game is grinding constantly and all the time. It's very time consuming when you have to grind, but the beauty of Classic WoW, in my mind, in comparison to, for example, retail and stuff, is that, like, oftentimes in Classic WoW, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of grinding, but the grinding is actually worth it. Because when you do get that upgrade that you need, holy shit, is it an upgrade. And you feel it. You really feel it. You feel your character is more powerful, you're more resistant, you do whatever. It's just like every single thing that you get out of that grinding, you feel it and it feels good. In retail WoW, you know, like you farm daily quests, you farm like the daily like world quests, and you farm the daily stuff, you accumulate your stuff, you've reached like your honor every single, you know, week or like whatever. You do like the thing to open your vault, you know, to have your 3 loots for each category like every single week. So you do all of that stuff, and ultimately you're gonna get like a staff that has 5 item level more, and when you play the game you actually don't feel the difference. So retail WoW has a lot more of different systems of grinding in place, a lot more than vanilla WoW, and the grinding is like mandatory too. And when you do get what you need out of that grinding, it's actually not that worth it. It's such an incremental change that you don't really feel it, and it doesn't feel good. When I reach level 35 on my mage, I just buy a Staff of Jordan and I use it until level 60. So staff is more, yeah. Yep. It is such an amazing, crazy staff too. And it's an iconic staff in the history of World of Warcraft. Like when people see, you know, it's like there's a heirloom that's been made out of this staff and like whatever, so people recognize the staff. If you walk around it, people know you're wearing this and it's like, oh my god, it's cool, it's the Staff of Jordan. Yeah, it is a really amazing staff. Or just like look at, like, for example, the whirlwind axe for warriors. You know, like the whirlwind axe is like a level 40 quest. You can actually do it at level 30, I think. Like it's a level 30 quest that normally you're not able to do until you're level 40 because it requires you to kill a mob that's like level 42 elite or something. So if you get help, you can have it. But if you get the whirlwind axe, you're basically going to equip that axe all the way from like level 30 to like level 45. Like it's such an incredible, powerful weapon. You're going to use it for so long before you actually have to change it. Like right now, my gear right now is really not amazing by any means. I'm pre-raid best in slot. Like, you know, there's stuff that is not quite pre-raid best in slot. Like I could get a better offhand, I could get a better one hand and like whatever. But yeah, that type of items are so cool. Yes, absolutely. I love these kind of items. These like iconic items, like the Dread Mist set, like for warlocks, whatever, that has also become a heirloom. And whatever, but like, yeah, like I don't have the greatest gear of all times by any means. I'm just pre-raid best in slot. That's it. Pre-raid best in slot with 2 pieces of tier 1 and 1 piece of tier 1 that is actually not that good. Like the shoulders of tier 1 is actually really bad in comparison to the Mantle of Lost Hope. So I have good gear, good decent gear. But it's not amazing. And man, I can tell you the difference is when I was just freshly ding level 60 running a 5-man, and right now running a 5-man, I had to drink every single pull to full mana when I just ding level 60. Right now, I can drink every like 3 to 4 pulls because I can downrank my heals so much because I have so much healing spell power. So the gear that I have is not even great, and the small little pieces, the small little changes that I have in my gear made a world of difference in making the game more smooth, which is also one thing that sucks in a way, is that I guess like retail WoW has kind of like flipped back on this a little bit, but like classic WoW is so gear dependent. It's like you could be like the shittiest player in the world and actually do great and wonderful if you have like the craziest gear. If you have really amazing gear, like in classic WoW, if you have really amazing gear, you're gonna get, you know, like you're gonna pull out the numbers, you're gonna kill faster, you're gonna heal bigger, you're gonna heal whatever, and you might not even be that great of a player, but you just have the gear that is there to basically carry you your way through, which is a little different in PvP. In PvP, it's like gear matters a lot, but you can still have a compensation with your you know, with your skills. Your skills can get you very far, even though you might not have crazy gear. Gear really helps, but it's not a determining factor as much as it is in classic WoW, in my opinion. And I don't like that, because when I like to play a game, I like to play a game that it feels like I'm improving, and it's not like I'm improving because I have better gear. It's I'm improving because I'm better with managing my cooldowns. I'm better at doing my CCs in arena. I'm better at reading the game. I'm better at doing preemptive plays, you know, in order to prevent other people from like killing us and like whatever. So I would pre-shield, you know, I would pre-shield a polymorph or like whatever, because, or a fear, because I knew it'd be coming my way or like whatever. It's like you do the moves that allows you to win. You know, it's like my gameplay. I press that button, and that button I press because of my awareness is what allowed me to have an advantage in that game. You know, and it's really hard to do that in classic WoW, because if you're completely outgeared, no matter how skillful you are, you're gonna lose. It's that simple. So I do think that in this sense, I do feel like classic WoW is more noob friendly, because you can be noob and be carried by the gear. Alright chat, we have 4 minutes left. Can we get to 255? Can we get to 255 in 4 minutes? That would be awesome. The last little blitz here, the last little few minutes, hoping to get to 255. At least it's cool, because I know that like lots of the fishes that we're actually fishing here right now are gonna be fishes that like for example the oily blackmouth. I know that this is useful for like alchemy and stuff. I even think it's useful for, I'm not sure, but I even think it's useful for cooking, for some kind of like food buff or like whatever. But I know that these, the Nightfin Snapper, they're really good for the MP5, the MP5 food buff, you know, which used to be really good. Probably most people probably don't use that right now anymore, but used to be good when people were raiding like Molten Core and stuff. So I don't know, maybe that still sells a bit. Maybe we can make some, you know, some money with that, or just, you know, do that, put in the, send it to our alt, put it in the bank, so that when we level in TBC, we have some MP5 food buff to level with us. That'd be pretty cool. And we did, I know you folks missed it because of the my camera location, but we did get 255 fishing. So hey, however much we can get until the end of the stream, we still have 2 minutes. However much we can get is a win, you know. But pretty happy that we got to 255, a little 5 less points. If tomorrow we have lucky RNG with our fishing, then we'll have 45. So today we started at 25. And then we got all the way to 255, which means we got 30 skills. We got 30 skills in this stream. To get to 300, we need another 45 skills. So it's a big gap between 30 and 45. So I don't think we'll be able to get it tomorrow, but hey, we're getting there. And whenever we'll be 300, as that is the plan, then we'll be able to start see if we can get some good gold making from fishing, because apparently fishing is a very good way to do gold making right now in preparation for TPC. So like it's one of my motivation to be able to do it, you know, and try it and do all that stuff and whatever, was specifically to find a way to do gold making that seems to be stable, whatever, as we were discussing earlier. We were having this discussion about having this kind of like sustained good way to be able to produce gold, and apparently fishing is one of that. So It was one of my motivation to level all the way to 300. And after that, we'll be able to, you know, give it a try and see if it's actually true. And if it is true, then we'll definitely put that part of like the guide, you know, not only a guide from like, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do a thing where, you know, like I'm going to put the guide on, you know, to level from 0 to 300. But then when reaching 300, I could do just a little quick video to be like, hey, by the way, once you read 300, once you reach that, then, you know, like you can make gold by doing this, you know. So maybe a little plug in there. It might be like something that people would be interested to see in the guide. But this is going to be our last fish of the day. I think my servers are down. Sad. Oh yeah, that is sad. On retail, you mean, right? Last click of the stream. All right, did not give us any point. So chat, we finished the stream at 2:55. We started at 2:25. Oh, actually, is there a fireplace in here to cook? I don't think there is, right? Let me go check. Because before ending the stream, I might just go cook whatever we have and see how high it gets us. Let's go check real quick if there's a place to cook. So it's gonna give us an idea for next stream how close or far we are from being able to reach 300 in one of our professions. Oh, I was thinking maybe in there, but let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, no cooking here. I think our best shot is... I know there's nothing there for sure. We're definitely going to check in here. I don't think there's anything in there because that's an inn. But, you know, we never know. Oh, maybe upstairs. No. Out of luck. Out of luck. If it's not in here, which is what they sell, like food and drinks or like whatever, if there's nothing here, we might have a chance at this little house right there. But I wouldn't count on it too much, chat. I would not count on it too much. Okay, so nothing here. Nothing here. All right, let's go check that house if it has you know, maybe it has a fireplace, a little campfire in the middle, which I highly doubt again, but I see like a kind of, I know it's just fur on the ground. Yep, not here. So we're just gonna go to Stormwind. I'm just gonna do it now. I would have heard it to Stormwind anyway, to do like maybe some like auction house stuff and like whatever, but like while we're at it, you know, like might as well just go and check it out. So we're gonna start by cooking the mithril headed trout. And by the way, I did not do it because I wanted to kind of stick true to the guide. You know, I wanted to make sure I didn't cheat on the guide, and that everything that I would do would be there on stream for people to watch and see, and it would be usable, you know, for the guide and like all of that stuff. So I wanted to stay true. But when, I don't know if you remember, but when we finished our thing that led us to 225, we literally had like 230 trouts in our bags. And because I was 225, there was no way for us to increase to 300. But technically, I could have cooked all of these 230 fishes, and that would have gotten me a lot higher than this. which is something I'm definitely gonna mention that in the I'm definitely gonna mention that in the guide. But right now we're just gonna we're gonna do the guide as if, you know, like people are like sell their fish or they don't have extra, they don't whatever, like they got 225 and then they got 0 fish in their bank, and then they just start from there, you know. And I mean, we have a lot. Look at this. I only have 70 skills to level up, and I have freaking like almost like 150 fishes. You know, would be very unlucky if that doesn't amount to anything. It's green, but we're still gonna cook it. We're gonna try to see how far does it get us. That's the goal. And while we do this, we're gonna take the opportunity to continue sipping our whiskey. Actually finishing it. Cheers. Yeah. You know, while we cook all of this stuff, I'm gonna tell a little story about whiskey. So, I hated whiskey for so long. I was at some point I went to like a friend's house, and we kind of did we went to a friend's house, and we kind of did like an evening, you know, just kind of like whiskey tasting evening. My parents are not big drinkers of strong alcohol. My parents like wine and stuff like that, but they don't like strong alcohol as much, and they're really not drinkers of whiskey. But for some reason, they had like 2 to 3 bottles of whiskeys hanging out there. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to, you know, to my friend's place to have a kind of whiskey tasting thing, like improvised whiskey tasting thing. So can I just bring your bottle of whiskey? And they're like, sure. So we went there. Like we were 4 people, and we were just kind of like sitting around chatting, trying different whiskeys and like whatever. And I realized that every single whiskey I tasted, I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it was because like it would burn my throat so much when I would drink the alcohol. I was like, oh my god, like what the hell is this thing? Like this is way too ridiculous and like whatever. So I really didn't like it because of that, because of the way that it would like burn my throat. And eventually, oh, we need this to okay, sure. Let's do the red gill, because I think it's lower on the ranking. And at some point, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but I got to try a Japanese whiskey. And when I tried the Japanese whiskey, I fell in love with whiskey. I really did. And the reason why is something that I realized is that, like, what I like about whiskey, I like the strong taste. I like when whiskey is very peaty, and I like when whiskey is very smoky. So I like the very strong taste of the whiskey, but I don't like the way it feels when it goes down the throat. I don't like when it burns. So Japanese whiskeys are very, very, very smooth. When you drink them, it just goes down the throat like you know, like all at once. You don't feel it. It doesn't burn. It's really amazing. And I got to just experience good whiskey for the first time in my mind, like at least a whiskey that was to my taste when I tried Japanese whiskey. And since then, I kind of grew into like I know the kind of whiskey that I like. So I like the whiskey that comes from Islay in Scotland. So like it's written Islay, so it's like Islay, So I always pronounce it Islay because I thought that was the name. It's the name of a geographical area in Scotland. But when I went to like the place where they sell alcohol in Quebec, there was a guy that was very knowledgeable on whiskeys, and he told me that like Isla is a Gaelic word, and in Gaelic you don't pronounce it Islay, you pronounce it Isla. So I'm gonna trust his judgment. I actually have no clue. I'm gonna trust what he's telling me. He's the expert after all. And I just started pronouncing it Isla, you know, after this interaction that we had. But so the whiskeys from Isla, they're very peaty. They're very smoky, but they're still kind of like smooth when they go down. I really, really, really love that. And the Japanese whiskeys are always like freaking amazing. But as I grew and I've learned, like I tried the Japanese whiskey, and then I tried the Japanese, after the Japanese whiskey, I tried the Isla whiskey. I realized that I really liked the really smoky ones. So I tried to find really smoky ones, and then it grew, and then it expanded. And now I'm way more capable of trying different kinds of whiskey and like whatever. But if it's a whiskey like like a Crown Royal or a Jameson or like whatever, there's a thing that when you drink it, it really burns when you drink it, that I don't like it. So I'm pretty picky with the kind of whiskey that I like, but it's I'm kind of picky with the whiskey that I like. But since then I ended up really liking whiskey when I was able to experiment with that, you know, and try different tastes and stuff. And for me, it's the same thing with wine. It's the same thing with tea. It's the same thing with whiskey. And even with like nihonshu, or what people here they call it sake or whatever. Is that like I don't necessarily drink it like to drink it. You know, there's a lot of people that drink like for the sake of drinking kind of thing. For me, it's like it's an exploration. You know, like I like it. I like drinking my alcohol, and it's the same with beer. I don't like beer like Budweiser or, you know, like Coors Light or Molson Canadian, whatever. Like I don't like the even just the normal like you know, what are these beers that people always like Stella, or Heineken or like whatever. It feels like when you drink it, it feels like you're drinking any other beer. Like any other blonde or almost, they barely almost taste the same. It's very commercial, it's very whatever. When it's a beer that just tastes like beer and you drink it for the sake of drinking beer, I don't like that. I don't drink beer and drink alcohol in that way. I like to drink my alcohol as like an exploration. So I like these like micro-brewed beer, which have very different tastes, very unique tastes, so much subtleties in it and whatever. And my whiskeys and my wine is the same thing. I like wines that have a lot of like subtleties to it, and my fun in drinking wine is just trying a bunch of different ones and just compare the taste, compare like all of that stuff, and then it's just like, yeah, like it's fun. It becomes an exploration, it's an adventure, it's about like, you know, so I don't know, it's just like that's how I like to engage with my like alcohol consumption. It's a fun exploration that is not about like, obviously like I like, you know, like getting the buzz and like all that stuff, but it's not about the buzz, it's not about any of that stuff. It's about tasting, it's about exploring my taste, my palate, discovering new tastes and new stuff and like whatever. And it's, you know, so this is a whiskey that I really like. I think it's like Bowman 12 years or something like that or whatever, but anyway, so wanted to share that little adventure out of how I got to, you know, like and enjoy and consume my whiskeys and my alcohol in general. But chat, we've made it. We've reached 300 cooking. I have never, ever, in my 15 years of playing WoW, I have never, ever reached max level in cooking. It is the first time ever. My fishing skill is still at 255, but we fished so many fishes out of all of this that like I would be able to go all the way to friggin' 200 skills if I could, you know, like, but hey, were maxed out. So I'm not gonna cook the rest. It's kind of useless. I'm not gonna use them anyway. Like it not like the buffs that they give me are actually not good for me. Whatever. I will cook these because these they give me 8 MP5, which is actually really good. So I'm going to cook these for sure. But chat, we've made it 300. You know, maybe we should have a little celebratory dance. You know, for my dwarf finally being able. And what about that? Look at that, the celebratory dance in the kitchen, where the 300 skills was finally reached. Pretty happy with myself, I must admit. So yeah, chat, tomorrow we are going to continue. We are going to grow all the way. We're going to continue with our fishing to make sure that we increase our fishing to 300. That is the next step. And as I was just alluding to a little bit earlier, I think that it's going to be very important to like, you know, like the 225, the 300 fishing is going to be useful for gold making. And I will be doing, I think it's going to be useful for me to include maybe like 1 or 2 streams or something like that about how I used fish, or looking at different guides and trying out for my own how to use fish for fishing for gold making. And I'm going to include that into the guide that I'm going to do. So as you know, I'm planning to do a guide to show you exactly step-by-step process of how to get you from 0 to 300 in fishing and cooking at the same time. And I think I'm gonna have maybe a little like 2 minutes or something at the end to show, like, then once you reach 300, how do you use the skills that you have to be able to make gold in preparation for TBC. So that's gonna be, you know, the next steps. But for now, chat, this is where we end up. This is where the stream ends. As per usual, thank you very much for Enthusiastic Panda for the amazing conversation. I had a blast. I love having a conversation, you know, whether it's about WoW, whether it's about like philosophy, about self-care, about all that stuff, you know, like that's the vibe that I want for my stream, man. You know, it's the vibe of just people popping in, having a conversation about anything. As long as it's respectful and honest and chill, then everybody's welcome here to chat about whatever they want. So thank you again for your participation. Congratulations on your mount, you know, congratulations on, I was so happy to be able to be there. And yeah, and for everybody else, I will see you. I will be streaming tomorrow. So tomorrow is Thursday. Yep, so tomorrow is my last day streaming for the week. I'll be there same time as usual, 10:30 p.m. EST until 12 a.m. EST. And yeah, so tomorrow is then, and then I will be starting streaming again on Sunday. If you're not sure about my schedule, you can always go on my Twitch page. You're going to see my schedule right there. And if you want to learn more about me, about what I want to do, about my channel or whatever, I also have a YouTube channel that's called Fugeki22. And if you !info in the chat, is going to give you a link to my YouTube video where I explain what I want to do with my channel, and I explain all the things you're going to get, the video that I want to do, and how I'm going to grow in the future. So make sure to check that out. And if you like what you're seeing, then make sure to give it a like, a thumbs up, a follow, hit that notification bell button and everything. But for all the rest, thank you again, and I will see you next time. Take care and be safe out there. Bye bye.